Hello, today's video we are going to talk about low-cost investment crafting ideas and some tricks for flipping items in the market. Majority of this video will be about items under level 64 to show that it can be done in early game. Now, let's get started. So, one of the first things that you will notice is you have the currency exchange system, and you can basically, if you already have some currency to play with, trade for the other currencies like the transmutation orbs, which will turn a normal into a magic item, augmentation orb from a magic into another like pretty much the same magic, you're just adding your second modifier. Then your regal orbs, your exalted, to turn from, let's say regal's got magic to rare, then exalted would just be your rare items. You're just adding your fourth and fifth and sixth modifier and so on and so forth. Then you have the greater versions of that, which are for pretty much items level 55 and above. They kind of help guarantee a better weighted modifier. So instead of getting a low tier, you're going to get more of a mid tier, pretty much guaranteed. And then you have your perfects for like 70 plus. Not only do you have your regular currencies, we're also going to be kind of covering the essences a little bit. Lesser essences are going to be for kind of, like levels, I think like 15-ish area. Then these essences, the greater ones here for like level 30s, and then like kind of more 64 plus for your end game. There's a lot of websites like crafttoexile.com that'll kind of give you the full currency list and kind of more details about, the levels and weights, so on and so forth. This is just kind of one of those quick video guides for, some easy tips for new players or potentially returning players who just haven't played much of POE2 yet. So we also have omens. Omens are good because on some of them for cheap we can pretty much guarantee like modifications to like your prefixes and suffixes and stuff like that. And again, this NPC and currency exchange unlocks at Act 4. And then we also have the new feature to this league. It is the auction house system, which you can trade for items. So kind of getting more to the point for the video here. If you think about when you start this game, you got a few different characters to choose from. The monk, the witch, sorceress, the warrior, one of the ranger characters. Every single character is going to start off with a different weapon type. Each weapon can have up to 2 sockets. And the purpose of today's video is to kind of go over the simple modifiers, what you're going to be kind of looking for when looking for an item, and how to kind of craft them to a point where they're going to be worth something to you personally for your build. And potentially once you're done with them, as you craft these, good items, how they can be kind of crafted not only good for you, but where they will hold value to be worth someone else buying them from you. So you can use them for yourself, or you can simply just craft to flip and make a little profit and get even better items over time. We're going to start off with this weapon here, normally for a monk. Really good defensive stat. It's got an implicit for block chance. Then you have your +4 to level of melee skills. Every time you're on the auction house, you're going to look at one main thing. No matter what the weapon is, it is going to have a bunch of stats. You're going to see something that has a bunch of damage, crit, attack speed, yada yada. It's all going to look good, but your most main focus stat is going to be the level of whatever skill. So it could be minions, melee, projectiles, spells, etc. That is going to provide you a good flat amount of damage that is going to be stronger than most of the modifiers of the damage themselves. Like if you had a modifier that says, I don't know, 86% spell damage, I will tell you that that +5 to that fire spell skills on this wand is going to be like 20 times as good. The level of skills for your gems, like the flat damage from that, is always going to be a lot better. But with that being said, it is a lot harder to find something like that. But, you know, people don't really know that when they're new, and they accidentally sell these items for dirt cheap. And that is why we go on the auction house and we will type in quarterstaff, melee skills, and pretty much whatever your character level is, you know, like level 30 or less. You can see melee skills pretty dirt cheap. And if you filter it so that it's a magic item, you can easily craft on it. So this one is level 37, so I gotta use a regular orb of augmentation. Just got some lovely, lovely damage there. And then we're gonna do an omen because I want to desecrate with a weapon, but I'm gonna do that after I apply an essence. I want physical. And I know this is going to probably boost the level because these two right now, because we're a month into the league, these are kind of expensive because nobody's really farming essences at a super low level at this point. So I'm going to use these higher one just for the purpose of this video. And again, the level requirement's going to go from 37 to 48, which isn't a really that much of a big deal at this point. And then because I want a prefix, we can use this omen here so that when we use a desecrated item from the Abyss tab at the currency market, we're going to guarantee a prefix. Got the nice squiggly there. Perfect. Oops, on that tab. And alright. Now we are going to take some extra exalted just in case. We're going to go to the Well of Souls. And we are going to run up to this guy, this little creature here. He's a funny man. He's very helpful. So when we desecrate and reveal an item, we get 3 different options to guarantee a modifier. So I'm going to do physical damage because that's what I really kind of wanted. Throw it in there. Little creature goes down there and retrieves it for you. What a lovely pet servant thing, creature, whatever it is. And boom, there we are. Got some nice physical damage. And then we have 2 Exalt Slams. Alright, we got some crit. And then we have the attribute requirements reduction. That's good, kind of. Because if you're a monk, you're going to be stacking decks. And you don't really want to use much intelligence. So having that just kind of saves up, you know, a point or 2 on the passive tree. Really helpful. Alright. So, we're going to go price check this here. And we're sitting at about 248 damage. Got 4 to levels. Some crit. Not really worth too much at this point. Got some block chance. Still not worth too much. But keep in mind that this damage is going to be based off level 48. Because if you don't, you know, check this right here, this requires level, you could be trying to compare this to like items that are level 70. You don't want to do that. And you're going to get a much more accurate price check, making sure they got this level requirement checked for 48. You can go up a level or 2, but, you know, there are kind of breakpoints, like every like 4 levels could, you know, definitely have a little bit of a difference in those modifier tiers. Not by much, but a little bit. So get, you know, an accurate level, definitely gonna accurately price check your items. So I think we spent like maybe 6, 7 exalts crafting this. Now it's worth maybe a good 20. But wait, there's more. Like I said, we can always craft more to it to make it worth even more and benefit you even more. So we can have up to 2 sockets here. So we're going to add those 2 sockets like so. And then we're going to take some of our iron runes, which are like an exalt piece. We just added a lot of damage. So now we're up to 300 damage at level 48. Still kind of hitting that 20 marker, which is fine. Now we can increase the damage some more. That didn't really increase the damage like I was hoping it was going to. But hey, whatever works, you know? And now our damage is so high. Yeah, so I would say that's pretty fair. And then, because we have the hidden modifier, like I said, you know, attributes, it's like huge, you know? So anyways, item 1 complete. Now, if we were to play like a witch or even a sorceress, you could do this on, but the focus here is going to be we're going to talk about witches more. So if you get a rattling scepter, it'll have an implicit for skeletal warriors. Really good to have. Again, you're going to want a magic item because then it's easier to slam an essence and an abyssal item onto the item, right? So again, in this case, when you're looking for skills, the witches are going to mostly use minions, right? If you're doing a minion based build, you could be doing a spells, so maybe you want to get like a scepter for spells, but I like to play minions myself, so I'm gonna make a minion scepter. So we're gonna go on here and type in the word scepter. There's only one. The scepter essence is going to have allies deal increased damage, which is huge. So not only do we have the plus to minions, which is going to, 1, increase their flat damage, 2, increase their flat life, which is huge. Then we have a little extra spirit, which will help us spawn 1 additional minion, which, you know, is huge by itself. And then now we're going to also have increased 80% damage on those minions. You know, flat base damage, whatever. And now we could desecrate item. Do we have any for the weapons? Perfect. Okay, well, guess I ran out of that supply, so let me go to the currency exchange really quick. Make one of those quick trades. Yep. This is working great. Let's see here. Oh, that's not a bad price. Get like 6 of them for 1 exalted orb. So as you can see, like, low investment at its finest. And boom, desecrate. Alright, now we go back to the Wall of Souls. Maybe our little creature pet friend can help us dig up another really juicy modifier. Look at that. Got spirit on top of spirit. Oh man, I don't know, because allies in presence deal 1 to 38 attack lightning damage. Like that's pretty huge too, but some of the minions that you could summon are like projectile based, spell based, so like unless it's all skeletal warriors, which I doubt anyone's really gonna do, like it's not really worth having it. I'd rather have an extra minion because there's just so many different like features and like combo wombos that you can do. So yeah, huge. So we can slam some exalts, and wow, we just whoa, look at that intelligence, good stack, crit, great. Now for this item here, we are not going to quality because quality on this doesn't really matter too much. The only thing it's gonna do is kind of like how on this wand it's got spell slinger, right? And if you quality the wand, it'll quality your ability on here, and like yeah, it kind of helps with the warrior minions, you know, having that little quality. That's more of like an end game. I wouldn't even say end game. That's not an early game thing that you really want to worry or focus about unless you just kind of find that material by yourself. It's not, you know, something you really want to invest into right away. That's kind of more of like your more mid game, you know, once you get into like Act 3, 4, and then just starting maps, that's where you're going to want to start to apply that a little bit more. Because, you know, as you progress, levels 1 through 15, going up to 20 to 30, like you're going to be swapping out, you know, as long as you're crafting, you're going to be swapping out your scepters like every 6 levels or so. So like, you know, investing 20 of those little things into this just really isn't worth it, because like stats, like once you get your +2 and like your damage, like you're just gonna be cruising so fast, like it's really not gonna make that much of a difference on a skeletal warrior minion. Okay. So anyways, we have I think like 12 exalts invested in this. um just by itself, no level requirement, like you could sell this, like this is going for like almost a div, and then like because it requires 58, like there's none on the market now. Realistically, do I think this is going to sell for a div? By itself at a higher level, you would want to see like maybe 3 to 4 minions, so I don't think this is going to be worth a div, but I would say, because you know there's 280 results a month into the league right now, so that's our current ratio. So we're a month in, and one divine is worth like 280 exalts. So this might be worth like 140 exalts, or even more. I could be wrong. Um, but like early in league, like it's a divine all day long. Divines, like in the first like week or two, they're like maybe on average 20-30 exalts for one divine, but or so on and so forth. But yeah, like I would say this is easily pretty high value regardless in exalts or divines early league. And then now if you decided to go minions or spells, you know, being a witch or a sorceress, um, having a focus is a lot easier, because a lot of these focuses, unless it's based on a specific elemental damage, you can also get like to all spell skills, so it's a little bit easier to craft. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that one really quick. Let's get us on our way here. Focuses, but yeah, let's see here. Well, I could do crit or I could do spell. I'd rather try to go for the spell first, because I could always desecrate the desecrate like the crit on or something. Hopefully, we'll see. Yeah. Well, ah, that's weird that it, you know, you would think that it's part of like the weapons and quivers, but I guess it's based on that. Well, anyways, moving on. It's an armor. Ooh, look at that. Like I was saying, like, unless you, like, you can have all skills, or let's say if you had, like, lightning spell skills or something, like, having that extra lightning damage would be kind of cool, I guess. Not really, because I think this lightning damage is, like, for, like, attacks and not spells, but if it was, like, lightning spell damage, yeah, that would have been pretty cool to have with the lightning specific. But all spells, like, even better, you know, right? We could do an energy shield boost to give us more defense, or we could just get a lot of flat mana. Maybe we can get, was it like mana shield or whatever? Yeah, that'd be probably best. And then, yeah, again, like just slam two exalt, boop and boop. Look at that. We got the crit that we were kind of looking for. We also got some lightning resist on here. Wow, that's worth a lot. I have no idea what it's really worth, but it's worth a lot. Oh yeah, let's price these real quick while we're waiting here. Go 25, meaning that we would like 25, but doesn't need to be 25. They could give us some offers. 25, 25, 35. That sounds great. And then I'm going to show you guys really quick, because those are just the weapons, right? So any class, again, you're going to go with whatever their main weapon is, like the starter weapon class. You know, it's a staff or a one-hander, two-hander, a bow, a wand, a scepter, and then, you know, you either got a quiver or a focus or even a shield, right? And so for weapons and offhands, like, that's kind of simple, right? If you had a bow and a quiver, you'd want plus projectile skills, right? Easy. So now you're thinking, okay, I got the weapon. How about gloves, boots, helmet, you know, body, especially like belts? Belts are kind of hard, right? So I'm going to try to keep the video short and just kind of give you a rundown and a basic idea. For belts, one of the main things you want to kind of focus on is your charm slots. So you want, you know, your one or two charm slots. That way you can get these charms. That way if you take, you know, lightning, fire, or cold damage, let's say, especially at the end of Act 1, you got that big wolf boss who does a lot of cold damage, right? And if he hits you, you get a temporary boost for 4 seconds of cold resistance here, and then you can recover, you know, potentially, you know, some life or some mana, yada yada yada. You can even get like gains charges per second, so like, you know, that could last a pretty long fight. You just keep getting like a lot of stuff, you know, recover 8 life with charge per second, like being hit, like that would stack up pretty nice. You could get modifiers that have like increased effect for that, but I would say most people don't really worry about charms too much. Some people, especially in the beginning, like to keep it simple, so they'll get stuff like life and mana, and then, you know, at least 2 resistances, you know, just to kind of keep it simple, keep things in the flow, and, you know, carry on with the campaign. But yeah, same concept. Get a magic belt. Try to get life and increased effect or something that's good for your build, and then you know essence craft resistance on there if you can, or maybe you want to just get resistance with your increased effect, and then just essence craft the maximum life on, and then same concept for gloves. You know, because we're doing such like juiced crafting, right? With our plus skills and our extra damage and flat whatever elemental, physical, and faster attack speed, crit, cast speed. I wouldn't really worry on the gloves so much about the damage unless you are, playing more of a sorceress who casts spells. Then I would try to get cast speed, or if you're like a bow character, maybe attack speed. But I wouldn't worry as much about the adds flat physical damage to attacks or the fire, because on these type of builds and characters, they're already gonna have a bunch of like additive damage between the bow and the quiver, and what they're gonna be really lacking is your overall max life and your resistances, which are gonna help prevent you from getting like one or two shotted by boss fights. Because I'd rather spend a good 4, 5, 6 minutes killing a boss instead of having to like have a little extra damage but then no survivability, and then having to like die from a boss for 20 minutes straight till I finally kill him, right? So huge difference there in the campaign. So again, for something like gloves, you would want to get like resistances for a magic item, and then you could always essence craft the life on there. Otherwise, you could just get like max life and then a resistance, and then craft more resistance and desecrate probably the damage or attack speed on there, or the cast speed. Um, then the boots. The only thing I kind of found most important on boots is max life, movement speed, and then trying to get life regen. So normally what I'll do is I'll find boots that are magic, that have movement speed, some type of life regen. Try to get like, at least 10. Makes a huge difference, believe me. And then essence craft the life on there. So movement speed, life regen, essence craft the life, and then hopefully when you desecrate, you'll get some kind of resistance on there. Amulets are kind of similar to the weapons. You're gonna have your plus skills. I try to get life regen personally, and then you could also get like at more of a mid, you know, level 50 plus. You could try to get like damage taken, recouped his life, extra cool stuff like that. Helps a lot. Uh, you can even get spirit on there if you really need it, 10, 15, uh, so on and so forth. But yeah, having that plus skills, huge. Chests are really easy to craft. So for these, you want to try to like stack your armor, evasion, or energy shield. If it is energy shield, you also want to try to get like faster start of energy shield recharge. And then of course some regen on there. Like all your items, like at least for me, I try to get life regen on my gloves, my boots, and potentially the helmet if I'm not using a unique helmet. Because life regen, like, it just helps a lot. Like if you only get hit for like 20, 40, and then like you got like 5 people on you and you're life regening for like 100, like you're just invincible at that point. It's really nice feeling. But anyways, yeah. So stack armor, evasion, energy shield, get your faster start of energy shield, um, that regen, and then cold resist. So I would probably say the easiest way to go about this is trying to find something that already has um, energy shield with more energy shield, and then essence crafting more energy shield, or something like that. Um, or just find something with resistant regen and craft either your energy shield or max life with armor and evasion. You know, whichever route you want to go. And then the only other thing left over is the rings. Now, the rings are my favorite. Alright, we're gonna do prismatic ring. Then we're gonna make magic. And then one of the coolest things here is your all elemental resistances. And make sure you're not selecting the explicit and that you are picking the POE2. See if I can do like 22. Boom. That way we can get an implicit and an explicit. And this explicit has a suffix for another like 13 or 14 or so. So implicit can go up to 10, and then this suffix can go up to like 19, it looks like. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then we are going to try to get some chaos resist. There is none on the market with that right now. So maybe if I try explicit, no, nothing. That is fine. So what we're going to do is max life. I would say 64 max life with 2 high rolls for elemental resistance looks pretty good. And again, you could do this at a low level as well. Doesn't have to be, you know, in the 50s.
Sure thing.
You know, and if you really need like lightning damage or fire or cold damage a little bit more than just the all resistances in general, you know, you could do a topaz ring, sapphire, and amethyst ring if you need the chaos resist. And I forget what the fire one is, but you get the point. So now that we have made it this far, we could do the essences, and for the ring, we can do a specific resistance. I don't really need I don't really need mana on my rings, but if you wanted to add mana, like if you're a bow character and you just needed a lot of mana, you can put some mana on there. But I prefer to have a lot more resistances on my rings, so that's what I'm gonna go with here. Yeah, that's a lot of resistance. Like having that 24 to all elemental resistance, and then on top of that having that 32 cold resist, like that is a lot. And then let me see if I could get at the currency exchange an abyssal thing. I would like to get it for a ring. It's not a bad price.
Let's see if there are any takers.
Look at that. And I really wanted the chaos resist too. So it's just like funny that we got that, right? Was it just a coincidence? Or was that planned? Hmm, interesting. Ha ha. Alright, well. Anyways, could do fire resist if you need it, intelligence. But having that cold and chaos, that's gonna make it have a lot of value, right? So again, our little guy here is gonna be flying down there, retrieving her item. Very nice. Now, because this video is in the purpose of low, I wouldn't say low, but early and mid game content, that is why I'm going to be exalt slamming on here. If this was like a level like 80 end game ring or something, I'd probably be using like, if not like perfect exalts, I would be using like the perfect essences because you can like add stuff on, you know, stuff like that. But yeah. Um, Accuracy, not so great for most builds. Decent maybe for a bow build. Maybe a melee if they have like really bad chance to hit. But yeah, that cold damage definitely helps. And beginning of the league, when Orbs of Annulment are cheap, you could potentially get a Omen to uh, apply so that when you go to annul a modifier, it would take a prefix. So then your odds would be cold damage, max life, or accuracy to be removed, and hopefully you land that accuracy. But yeah, so potentially that's what you would do there. And I think for this ring, our total investment came out to about 18 exalts, and we are looking at, again, we're a month in. Um, so 18 exalts now and getting a return of one div would be like 4 to 5 exalts investment on the first like couple of days, and then getting like maybe 25 exalts back for a div, just because that value fluctuation there. But yeah, overall, big profit. And if not big profit, like, you're getting a lot of life and resistance off of just one ring. Like, that is huge. But yeah, I think that wraps it up for today's video. I thank you guys for watching and hope that you've learned a little bit, even if, you know, you didn't really learn much, but maybe have came up with some ideas. You know, that's beneficial, I suppose. Yeah, thanks again for watching. Have a great day and good luck. Bye.